It is starting. All right. So what's up, y'all? We are back with another episode of Ridgemont Forest Finest, the podcast. And we are back with Miss Muhammed from last week, y'all. Hey, Miss.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Woo. All right. So we're going to recap real quick. But before we get started, let me say that on average, Miss Muhammed, when I upload an episode, let's say I go from Sunday to Sunday, on average, I get about 200 downloads in about a week for an episode, right? Pretty good for 7 days, right? Your episode, I uploaded it on a Wednesday. Yeah. Today, it's at like 4:01. Yes. I did that, but I'm like, oh, snap. So it's gaining traction. So people are very interested to hear your story, hear what you got to say. So thank you for that. And thank you for coming back. When we left off, so recap for people, Ms. Muhammed is the HISD teacher who was facing termination, possible termination for speaking up and speaking out against a bullying principal. And so when we left off last week, your hearing was in a couple of days. So I'm gonna mute my mic and let you have it. Give us a recap for the people that did not join us last week so they'll know, and then tell us what's next.
Okay, perfect. So thank you for having me back. Let me do a quick little snippet of recap of last week, because last week's episode was almost 2 hours. So let's bring this down to 30 seconds. So long story short, I'm at South Early College. We received a new principal because our previous principal had retired. So let me say that. Knew he was going to retire. He retired. We received a new principal. This new principal came in, long story short, with the shits. I had to file a grievance on her within the first 30 days just because of ineffective leadership. Bottom line, that is what it is. Moving forward, there was a grievance I had to escalate again. Maybe this is March, so it's sometime in the end of February, end of January, beginning of February. With that being said, our senior HISD senior executive came to campus, and me and her had a conversation privately behind closed doors. Based on that conversation, along with what was going on between me and my principal, she had me removed from the campus. I was doing home duty for about a couple of days. From there, I was assigned to teacher jail at Hoke and waiting for termination hearing, which would have been last week, Tuesday, would end up being, I think, Wednesday or Thursday. So now we'll bring it up to here, Wednesday or Thursday. But if you want all the good details, you want all the juice, get at part one of this podcast to get all the details of the conversation. So get that and pick up. So let's go in. So we end up meeting. I had 2 hearings scheduled for last week. The first hearing the first hearing that I had scheduled for last week was supposed to address the grievance. However, when we got on the call, and I say me because my union rep is representing me, was present on the call along with someone from HISD. I do not know their name. I have it written down somewhere. It was. I don't know what the tone was. I don't know what the energy was, but the HISD hearing for HR was really kind of like, I don't even want to be bothered with this. Whatever they say go. Was not really trying to have a fair trial or a fair hearing per se. That was the energy that my union rep as well as myself got. And it was like, you know what? Let's just put a couple statements on record. So when we come back for whatever happens next with her actual termination hearing or conference of record is what it's called in HISD, at least we have a paper trail. We have something to say, hey, we're supposed to meet for this. We did not get a chance to. We feel that it's this, and this. Have this on record because they have to document everything. Everything in HISD is documentation. So it's good just to have it. So that meeting was like 3 minutes. So now we go to the conference of record, which I believe they end up moving it from Tuesday. So maybe this was like Wednesday. And in this conference, everyone who I thought was going to be there was not going to be there. I thought that because the conference of hearing was dealing with a situation that happened with HISD South Division Senior Executive Director. Lord, these new titles are killing me. Her name is Anna White. I thought she would have been there, as well as the South Division Superintendent, Amelia De La Guardia, because she was the one who actually had me removed from campus, and I've had no relationship with these women. The first time I ever spoke to Miss White was when she came to our campus on Valentine's Day. Outside of that, I've seen her here, there, everywhere, but we've never had an interaction. So we go to the meeting. She was not in the meeting. Only person who was in the meeting was myself, my principal, my union rep, and then my principal's boss, which is HISD's executive director, ED. His name is Chris Clafton. Chris Clafton, that's his name. So the meeting was supposed to last about a good 30, 45 minutes. It literally lasted about 10 minutes. When my principal spoke first, you do the introduction, she spoke first. I will say she played the angry black woman card, hands down. She played the angry black woman card. Now, am I saying that she's lying? No, she did not lie. However, everything is in context. Everything is in context. If you pull one statement out or one sentence and you use that as your whole narrative, that's where the issue lies at. Did she lie on what she said? She did not. She didn't. She did not. Did she give the whole truth of the story? No. She took out that one piece. This happened. This is my basis. And so that is the issue that I have. And I said, and so when it came to my time to speak, I literally was like, this is a lie. I have statements. Not only do I have my personal statements, I have statements from other colleagues who's witnessed the behavior. I had documentation, all these different things, and I felt that none of it was addressed. She literally came in and pulled out her snippets of situations. I'm going to pull out this statement. I'm going to pull out this statement, and this is going to be the whole gamut of everything. So what my union rep realized was that me being removed from campus, what we automatically assumed, it was all part of these three women got together and decided, we don't like you. We feel that you're rude. We feel that you bossed up with us, and we got rid of you, to the point that it did not go through the proper channels. How do I know this? Because my principal, her boss, was in the meeting just to be in the meeting. Because when questions were asked or things were going on, he said, or he appeared, or he was like, I have no knowledge. For lack of a better word, everything was above him. I'm just here, so I won't get fired. Was kind of like the attitude that he had, because he kind of didn't really know nothing. When we asked him questions, he was like, I know anything about this. This is not me doing this. So that is where this lies. So now, which further for me lets me know, okay, now see where this is coming from. So what ended up happening, I did not get terminated. I am still a contract employee of my school of HISD. Now, what has happened to Ms. Muhammad? I am still at home or at home duty, teacher jail. And my contract will not be renewed for, what's this, 24-25.
Okay, so they did not fire you. They just non-renewed you.
Right.
And you are still at home duty.
Yes, but I'm not supposed to be. I'm supposed to be at the teacher jail, which is almost 90 minutes from my house.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. We got to get back there. Okay, let me let you finish. I'll just checking in. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. And so now what's going to happen? So per HISD, when you go to a conference of record, no matter what the crime is, let me say that, it's still the same process. You meet for a conference of record, which is what I have. They decide, I'm going to renew you, not renew you, terminate, whatever situation may be. Then you have to wait up. There's another meeting that's supposed to come up where they go throughout the week, whoever they fired, whoever they got rid of, they put everybody together, and they have a meeting to kind of go over it again and say, you know what? Was this fair? Yes, no, we'll renew her, not renew her, like that. So we believe, again, it's just what we believe. We have no fact that I'm going to not be renewed, which is not a problem. But because you're not renewing me because I'm a trash teacher, you're removing me because of EGO, which is ego, then I have 15. Once they say we're not going to renew for 24-25, then my attorney, my lawyer, will appeal that conviction. So once they appeal that, that means if I want to come back to HISD or even the same school, I can't. Because as of right now, it's non-renewal. I could move around the district, it's just all that. But that's where we are with it. So the good thing is my license technically is still intact. But however, no teacher, regardless of the district, wants to have your school to not renew your contract. I mean, it still looks bad. Let me be clear. Like, granted, yes, my license is saved, woohoo for that. But it still looks bad to say, you know what, Ms. Muhammad, they didn't renew your contract. Why didn't I renew your contract? So then you have to go into this whole thing. If I go to Alvin ISD or Fort Benning ISD, they didn't renew my contract because of whatever. So I need to make sure that I have all my ducks in a row. So if it does not get renewed, I lose my appeal. I have enough documentation to support me going to Alvin or Fort Benning or Alden, wherever else district I go inside the city limits, in order for me to have a career in a school district that's not charter. So that's where the issue lies at. Or I could do like some people do that I know. They get fired from HISD, they go to a charter school, they wait for a couple of minutes, and then they parlay back to HISD because, everybody who fired them or terminated them is officially gone, and you can just kind of make it work that way. So it's so many different ways you can play around with it, but I don't have time for all that. So we'll figure it out.
Okay, so I know that's funny that you brought that up because this past Friday, there was this meme that went out that says today is Black Friday in HISD. They got rid of 5 Black principals on a Friday and 2 Hispanic principals, and they all came from South Division. And so it's crazy that you say that because hell, after your episode aired, I had people inboxing me about this principal. Like, oh, wait a minute. I used to work with her at such and such. I worked with her at such and such. And allegedly, these types of allegations, I'm not going to be specific here. If you have not listened to the first episode, go back and listen to that. These allegations are not new for her.
And I've heard the exact same thing, allegedly. I don't have documentation on it, but I've heard that allegedly the same things that I'm dealing with allegedly happened on previous campuses before, especially within HISD. I do not know I do not know the zone. I can't say if it's north or south, but yes, I've heard the exact same things.
And allegedly, one was so bad that you were walked off of campus.
I've heard the exact same thing too. I wonder
the same people talking to us.
Yeah, let me tell you, I heard the exact same thing. But my motto is you never know who people know.
Right.
You never know. The world is big yet small, and especially when you work in HISD, especially when you are a Black educator, the world is big and the world is small. And if you matriculated your whole career from elementary school to college in Texas, especially in Houston, people come across your path in some form or fashion. Yep. So you'll be surprised when podcasts come out or news articles, good, bad, and different. Like, oh, I know so-and-so. And how you leave a person is what they remember you by. That's their narrative.
Yes.
So if you left a person with a bad taste in their mouth and it's been 15 years, now they've been re-stimulated. Like, you know what? I'm out to get them. You left them feeling good. They're going to say, you know what? Oh, I know Rich. Man, that's my homegirl. She good. And you ain't seen this person in 20 years, but you left them feeling so good that that's how they remember you.
Right.
And that's what you have to be mindful of. You never know how you leave people. And when stuff is exposed, good, bad, and different, which side they go to. Yeah. So the same way you've gotten some information about people you never thought you would have, I've had people I haven't talked to since I was in the college. I ain't been in college in a minute. I'm like, how you even get my number? How you find me? How you find me on the internet? And you give me information. I'm like, okay, this sounds about right. And this person has no dog in the fight. They don't have no dog in the fight.
Right. They just happen to hear something.
They don't benefit. I lose my job, not have a job. They don't benefit whatsoever. Their life stays exactly the same. So that's crazy. Yes, I heard those same allegations.
I have the actual memo that you got from your conference of record, and I want to read that. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so this is the official memo that you were given from your principal, Angelica Vega from South Early College High School. And it says a subject conference summary on February 28th, 2024. You participated in a virtual conference for the record via Teams to discuss your pattern of behavior that does not meet HISD employee standards of conduct. You are represented by your union rep with HFT. During the conference, I reviewed my concerns and gave you an opportunity to respond. Specifically, I discussed how you walked out of PLC on January 30th and then walked out again at the January 31st meeting where Mr. DeCastro and I tried to address you about your words and actions during that PLC. I also shared how you declined to meet with me regarding an email you sent to faculty and staff on February the 1st. Now, I'm going to pause right here because I remember you speaking about declining that invite, but that was her sending you an invite to meet way after hours, after contract, right? Knowing that you had to go pick up your baby. But it goes back to what you said earlier about pulling bits and pieces and making it a narrative, because what she did not include in here is that she wanted to meet you at 5 o'clock or 4:45 when your school day ends at what time?
At my campus, 3:35.
3:35. So basically stick around for another hour and a half to meet with me. And when you said, I have to go be a mom and pick up my kids, that's what she's putting in here as you declining. All right. So then when I rescheduled the meeting for February the 5th, you declined to meet, but then proceeded to enter my office and began to demand I meet with you and shouted accusations at me in front of Mrs. Bullock and Mrs. Pascoe. This resulted in a third directive to follow HISD employee standards of conduct.
And let me stop you right there. That is the school secretary and our campus union steward.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So now everything that you're reading is correct, but the context is not there, and the order in which she is saying it is not there.
Okay.
Because even when meeting with our union steward and our campus secretary, prior to that, you played games. You did this whole come down. You had the secretary call me, hey, come down to my office, all nice and cheery, not knowing you're trying to get me to sign something. I already told you the day before, I don't like how you're handling me. I need my union rep in front of me. Mm-hmm. So again, not saying that she's lying about anything, but let's give the whole story, not the snippet to justify behaviors.
So nowhere in here did she indicate that you were declining meeting with her without your union rep. That's what she didn't say.
Right.
All right. So I'm going to continue. On February the 12th, you did not attend content PLC as required. And I wrote you a memo on February the 14th indicating that by not attending PLC, you are in violation of HISD Board of Policy DH. On February 14th, you left your advisory class unattended to join the South Division parent luncheon at the senior executive director for the South Division, Anna White, asked you to return to your classroom. Ms. White wrote a memo for your behavior, directing you to follow employee standards of conduct and not speak to coworkers in an unprofessional manner, and to follow directives of administrators. So that one, if I remember, you just said, okay, well, I'm a parent. It's advisory. Nobody does anything during advisory anyway. I have someone watching my class. I'm going to come down and attend as a parent. When Ms. White told you to just sign out, you were like, okay, great. I'll sign out as an employee. So now I'm not on your clock, and now I'm going to be a parent. And so that's you not speaking to people in a professional manner?
Exactly. And keep in mind, those of us who had listened to the first podcast, the issue I have, again, none of that's incorrect. Let me say this.
Okay.
None of that's incorrect. However, the conversation with myself and Anna White was behind closed doors.
Okay.
That needs to be expressed, like I've been saying constantly. It's behind closed doors.
So she can say that you said anything to her, and you could in turn say that she said anything to you.
Granted, there has been no investigation. No one has called me and said, no one from the district has said, well, Mr. Muhammad, let me get your side of the story. Right. I have to date, March 3rd, I have not asked, anybody's ever asked for what has happened behind those closed doors. It was automatically assumption, however you did it, that she was in the right, I was in the wrong. Because again, if I was so rude, I go to a high school, and those of us who have children, those of us who see the videos, the moment a high school student hear any type of ruckus, these phones are coming out, regardless of where they are. Let me be clear. So if you heard all of this in front of the children, all these different things, can I have some footage? Our campus is small. Our students know everything about every teacher. They'll be like, hey, Ridgemont, let me tell you what happened to Miss Muhammad. You heard her do it. So none of this has went through the building. Again, a private conversation that you didn't like whatever went on behind these closed doors. So how do all of a sudden now we skip all type of protocols, all type of steps per HR or whoever, and now
you're an angry, combative, aggressive Black woman. Okay. So it says Ms. White wrote a memo for your behavior, directing you to follow employee standards. Due to your continued unprofessional behavior in the workplace, the South Division Superintendent, Ms. De La Guardia, issued you a temporary reassignment to home duty on February 14th. So teacher jail, campus or ad leave. At the conference, you stated that you had filed a workplace bullying complaint and were waiting for the outcome of the investigation. That's one of your grievances.
Yes.
Stated that you understood Ms. White had reassigned you for behavior during that specific incident with her. You also shared your perspectives from the memos I presented, specifically the PLC, where you were appraised the same day of the PLC, the email clarifying the expectations for feedback and frequency of coaching, and not being able to attend meetings outside of contract hours, nor without a union representative present. At the conclusion of the conference, I informed you that your pattern of unprofessional behavior does not meet HISD employee standards of conduct. I am therefore recommending the non-renewal of your contract.
Yes. And let me say this in context. Realistically, you're talking about 3 days. Even though this is like January to Valentine's Day, you're talking about in this, say, 10-day span, we're literally talking about 3 days. not even 3 back-to-back days. We're literally talking about 3 days. Let's go January 31st. Let's go the day of the day after that. Maybe it was like February 3rd or 4th, and then Valentine's Day. So these are not even back-to-back continuous days. So that's where the issue lies at. Again, not saying any of it is not true. It's how you were playing and how we're looking at it, what we're talking about. Because even though I did not attend a PLC, a content meeting for the English department, which I chair, she knew that. You know why? Because our school was out of compliance on something, and I had to go to a training for that the next day. So I said, let me sit in my room and get my life together so that I can be ready for this training. Because again, you out of compliance, not me, but I won't take them on for the team. So again, if you're going to say it and we're going to tell it, let's tell it and say it the correct way. But that's not what you're choosing to do, because you got to paint the narrative. This is an angry Black woman. And how dare she not stay in her place?
Right. And who does she think she's talking to me that way?
Right. So exactly.
Okay, let me ask you this, because this has been plaguing me, my mind. Okay. We talked on the last episode about teacher jail and what teacher jail consisted of, right? And for those of you that don't know, go ahead and it is just like what it sounds like. Okay. So some people get assigned home duty and they can stay either at their house and do whatever they assign you to do for that day, whatever that is, or go to a location that is near their home to shuffle papers, clean up trash, do whatever they have you to do, because you're still technically under contract. So you have to earn your money, right?
Right.
They have assigned you teacher jail 90 minutes from your home. I think it's important to go back and revisit that your 2 sons attend school where you work at.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Your daughter attends school in the vicinity. You're close enough to where you can get to her when you get off of work.
Yes.
And you can pick her up by the time she gets out of school.
Yes.
Your husband works overnight.
Yes.
Everybody knows your situation. However, they're saying that, yes, we know we do this for other people, but for you, you got to drive 90 minutes away from your house. I don't know how you're going to pick up your kids on time from school, but you better pick them up on time for school or we're going to call CPS on you because you're not here. Doesn't matter to us that your husband works overnight or he can't get to the kids like you can. We want you, because you pissed us off, to go 90 minutes that way and then come back.
Yes.
So as it is, you're having to use your days because there is no possible way that you can do that and still pick up your babies and be a mom.
Yes.
So now when you run out of days, or if you run out of days, what's next? Because they have reiterated to you that 90 minutes away from your home is where you are supposed to be right now.
Yes, and that's 90 minutes one way. I think it's almost like without the toll. So it again, I feel, and I'm gonna say this, I don't have documentation and facts to support this. This is my feeling. I feel that again, it was a knee-jerk decision based on your ego getting bruised, and by you not going through the proper channels, it leaves me not being able to pull on Ridgemont to say, hey, this has not happened this way. Can you help me out? Because when I call HR, it's like, this is above us. Everybody's conversation is, this is above us. So at the end of the day, regardless of what happened, my husband supports me. I think it was best for my family. So if I run out of days and I just sit at home all day, cool, not a problem. Because at the end of the day, my babies have to get picked up. Let me be clear. So that's regardless, this could be me talking to Mike Miles. I'm gonna have to have the same conversation. Who's picking up my babies? Because I was at a school with my babies. So I was able to, when I left out at 3:35, my boys hopped in this car. We left, had a 10-minute drive up the road to get their sister, and we make it home. All of a sudden now it's not like that. So, and I cannot, even though I have a big family, I have siblings, my parents are alive, all these different things. Everyone lives their own life. And it is unfair for me to depend on my brother or my sister-in-law or my sister all the time to get my children, because number one, they're at different schools. Number two, as families are, we don't all live in the same little 10, 15. So it's a major inconvenience. I mean, my village will cover through, but for how long are they going to do this when you're not giving me no end time? You're not saying, you know what, sit here for 3 weeks and then come back to us. It's nothing. It's nothing. And that's the problem that I have.
So this is definitely punitive. It definitely sounds punitive. It's so funny because I have people that listened to this episode and they were inboxing me like, oh, this is 1,000% racially motivated. Like, especially, I think it's crazy because it's people that know this lady. Now, mind you, I work somewhere totally opposite from you guys.
Yes.
And people are hitting me up like, that lady, I'm ready to come on the podcast and talk about her because I got a story. And I'm like, whoa, everybody has a story about this woman and the similar tactics that have been done to them. So for you to tell me, and of course, I used to work in HISD. I know what teacher jail looks like. Okay. Right. Well, not personally because I ain't never been, but I know of teacher jail. And you're absolutely right. I don't know how it is now, but it was broken up into divisions, and every division office had a headquarters, and you go different places to serve your time until your investigation was complete. You either return back to your campus, or they terminate you, or they non-renew you, and you shuffle papers until the end of the school year. Right. Or until your days or your check runs out. So for that lady, and I don't know if she's a mom, I don't know anything personal about this lady. It's insane that you would give no cares. It's literally nothing really that you can say. You didn't harm a child. You didn't abuse a child. You didn't mishandle funds. You didn't mishandle testing data. You didn't do anything. So she is literally punishing you because you stepped out of your black ass place and spoke to her in a way that you should not have spoken to her or her supervisor.
Exactly. That is literally where we are. I mean, in essence, and I have friends that work in HR and Fortune 500 companies. I was like, well, read through my stuff. I said, because a fresh set of eyes. It can be just me being vengeful. Why don't you look through this? You work in this totally different. You're not even in education. You're just in regular corporate America. Read through all the documentation, and what do you think? Because if it's me, am I the problem? Let me know. I'm okay with that. But since when they read through and they looked, they was like, no. This is like we're missing something, because I hear what you're saying. Okay, yeah, I can see how somebody felt that you was inappropriate. But again, let's talk about it. As reading teachers, we know that tone is subjective. This is a subjective type.
Very much so. Yeah.
Rudeness is subjective. Like so many things are subjective based on who the person is. But at the end of the day, because they've documented so many different things and how it went down, this is now personal. And I think that at the end of the day, you're trying to set a precedent, and the precedent is getting ready to backfire, because whether I get terminated from the district or not, it's out here now who you are, who your names are. So no matter where you go, if we Google you, we're going to know this is how you handle people. So it's not going to look good regardless. So I can be the sacrificial lamb, and you want to get rid of me and terminate me. Cool, not a problem. But guess what? It's going to always come back to this is how you handle people.
Yeah.
And that's not a good look.
And it sounds like, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, the number of people that getting rid of principals every single day, it sounds like if she don't get to tap dancing a little harder, she might be on her way out of there as well, because y'all school, even though y'all are a specialized campus and y'all are A-rated campus, y'all at the bottom of the barrel.
Yep.
Y'all have a lot of, after you had the conversation with me about test scores and students in TSI and their EOC scores, my data looking at, I went and pulled y'all data because I'm a numbers person, right? So the numbers don't lie. So I'm on the TA website. I'm looking at y'all data, and I'm like, this is a specialized campus. This don't look very specialized to me. So it sounds like sis has other things that she needs to be focusing on other than you, which brings me to, I'm pulling up the documents that I have here, which brings me to my next point. I am looking at a handful of your observations. Your observations are damn near stellar.
Yep.
Your observations, even with her name on them, are damn near stellar. For English teacher, department chair, under the whole NESA system, whatever they got, point system they got going on, you have the documentation, the observations of a highly qualified, what do they call it? Exceptional.
Yeah, I think what it's like. The new terminology is it'll be accomplished, because I think it's
accomplished teacher.
Yes,
accomplished teacher. So I am confusion, as the kids would say, because this definitely sounds like, I don't like her. She's smart. She thinks she's smart. She's good. You have a rapport with the kids, because even after that episode, your parents have reached out to me. Your parents have reached out to me. Your parents of the students that are in your classroom have reached out to me like, this is probably one of the best teachers we have on this campus. there's no reason. So I didn't tell you that, but hopefully that gives you the warm and fuzzies.
Yes.
Because you are essential on the campus. And so it's very baffling to me. So now my next question is, who is in your classroom? I know the answer because the parents have already told me, but can you enlighten us? Because your baby is one of your students.
Yes. My youngest.
Who is in your classroom right now and what are they doing?
So the sub that's in my class, hear me well, I'm not ageist, but the sub that's in my class is a grandpa who is just a grandpa, just sitting around, might be asleep, because I've seen him in the building before. Like, I'm aware of who this sub is. Let me be clear. This is what they call them. Some campuses have like a long-term sub, but the sub stays on the campus in case somebody's out. So they just kind of like permanent subs. I guess it's a terminology for them. I'm not really sure, but it's one that you know all the time from your building. He come again, sweet man, sweet. Hear me when I tell you, got a Jolly Rancher for me. But he's not one that's going to go in and do the work. They're sitting around. From what I've heard from students, parents, the coworkers that still rock with me, like, my classroom is a shit show. They're in there eating noodles. They go into the bathroom, not coming back. They're not doing any work. I mean, let's be clear. When the cat's away, the mice will play. So I'm going to literally just say that.
Yeah.
And so that's where the issue lies at, because we know as educators in the state of Texas, no matter where you go in the state of Texas, this is considered star season.
It is.
I don't care where you go. You in Dallas, you in Corpus. This is star season, especially from 3rd through 11th grade or 3rd to 10th grade. So that has always been what is going on. And pretty sure any campus that you walk into across the state of Texas during star season,
right,
they are doing some type of heavy lifting, boot camp, review, Jeopardy or something to make sure that the students are prepared to hit the mark across the state of Texas, because that is our moneymaker in the state of Texas. So that is not what's being happened. And parents, those parents who, because let me go back. A lot of parents have my numbers because the school that my children went to was a K-8 school. They transferred over. I'm in certain social groups, different things like. So this is how like, not only am I a HISD, I know this parent, that parent, but outside of these, we have relationships with these parents via sports, social clubs, all these different things. So a lot of parents are still keeping up and like, hey, this is what's going on, blah, 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 blah. But I would say I've had parents that call and be like, you know what? I feel like it's too late to advocate for my kid. And I'm like, well, no, now's the perfect time for you to advocate for your kid. I was like, because I have one fight. My fight right now is for me to save my license, for lack of a better word. And so my husband knows, you know what, you got to save your license. I'm gonna fight this battle on what's going on in my kids' class. Right. And so that's the way. So now I feel that I've given parents the empowerment, for lack of a better word, to say, you know what, maybe I was trusting Miss Muhammad too much to take care of my kid. Yeah. Again, not a problem. I'm not upset about that. But now that she's not there and I rock with her, I trust her. Who's gonna watch out for my kid? Now I got to rearrange some things to go up there, because the person who I knew had my back is gone, and now it's craziness going on. And so what's going to happen for my kid, who is a freshman, who has to have EOC 1? Yes. Out of high school. So
or the kids that we talked about last week who are juniors, sophomores, juniors, seniors, who still have yet to pass EOC 1 at this specialized early college campus. I am confusion.
But then you look at it from the same point too as well. Okay, so Miss Muhammad is gone. Okay, we're gonna play it out. Miss Muhammad is gone. She left February to the end of the year. There still were things that was not finished in my curriculum. Again, fine. So now they go to STAR. Let's just play the good look. They get approaches. Okay. When they go to 10th grade, and I'm saying if, because I do not know, so don't act like I know what's going on. But if that 10th grade teacher is still there, that 10th grade teacher might be like, you know what? I know who Miss Muhammad was. That was my teammate. I don't mind filling in some gaps for her. But if it's a whole different 10th grade teacher, and that 10th grade teacher walking into, oh, this is a specialized campus. I expect to see this because y'all told me this. And then when that teacher gets there and that teacher sees the hell, y'all can't do what? I'm supposed to work these miracles. I got to bounce. Yeah. So that is when we're in our ego. We're not even looking at what we're doing.
We're not doing what's best for kids at all. It doesn't sound like that.
No.
So if you tell me that there is a substitute in your classroom that is not teaching at all, are they following some type of curriculum? Are you still required to put lesson plans in there for them to follow? I'm confused.
So let me tell you what's going on for me, because somebody else might be a different conversation. So what's going on for me? When I left the building February 14th, which is Valentine's Day, I was told to leave everything there. Cool. Now, I still, as of today, have access to everything that I previously had access for. I am still I'm employee of the district as well as an employee of my school, because they have not terminated me. That's the problem. If they would have terminated me, then guess my Ridgemont, you could be there right now. But they did not terminate me. So the only option they have is to have these long-term subs from February 15th, which is that next day, until June 6th, I believe, when school gets out.
And I think it's important to also make sure people that are not in education, they understand how that works. Your contract is your contract. Right. And while you're out or on leave or under investigation or anything like that, that is your position. They cannot hire for your position because that budget, that salary has already been allocated for you.
Yes.
And in the event that, I hear feedback. And in the event that let's say you get a lawyer and they fight this and blah, 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 they can't give your job away. That's your position.
Until
record.
Right. Until they're official. Now, if they would have came in when we met this week and said, we terminate you, cool. I'm terminated now, Ridgemont, you can now have my class. That's how that goes. But since they did not do that, technically you're coding me like off-campus duty or off-campus. So you can't really put nobody in. So at the end of the day, regardless, this was your ego, because now everyone is suffering. Let me be clear. When I say everyone, the children as well as staff, because now you're expecting my teammates or whoever else to pick up the slack. But guess what? They have their own workload. They applied for this job that they're doing, and now you want to do something else, or you're adding on to this. So there's a situation where no one is winning. This is a situation where your ego got in the way, and now no one is winning because you didn't cut off your nose to spite your face.
So let me ask a dumb question. I already know the answers to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway for kicks and giggles, and maybe the audience wants to know. What is the likelihood of her or another one of your administrators going into your classroom to teach your babies who are getting ready to take a state assessment when we return from spring break?
The same likelihood of me and you both winning the lotto tomorrow. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Like it's because from what I have been told, again, what I have been told was going on in my classroom, not only from my child, but from my coworkers who are still there that rock with me, like it's a hot mess. So everybody now is in the space of, let me watch this, watch this ship sink. You know how you had that meme from with Oprah Winfrey from not Oprah Winfrey, was that Whoopi Goldberg from Color Purple sitting like this, just watching. This is what everybody's doing, because they see now that it's about to be a mess. And it's at this point, let's think about it realistically. I think you're an awesome educator. I'm an awesome educator. So now this week, especially in HISD, this week right here is the week before spring break. We have 1 week out of school. And then I believe EOC 1 is April. They changed the date to either April 10th or April 11th. So you're talking about once I get back, maybe 2 uninterrupted. That means there's no tail pass, PSAT, SAT, none of that. I'll have a good 10 days to get with students. But here's the gotcha. On my campus, I don't see everybody every day. I see it a block day. So every day is almost like a new day, because they might remember, they might not remember, all these different things. So even if this teacher comes in, this professor comes in, could be a Rhodes Scholar. You're gonna have to go in now to build relationships, all these different things to make sure they're even able to get what they've missed these past 2 or 3 weeks that I've been out.
That's crazy.
So in essence, and not to just be a Debbie Downer or be negative, I cannot see realistically a good outcome star-wise. Now, granted, the devil can make me a lie, and I could just be totally wrong. But realistically, what I left and what I was already dealing with, and now you have no structure and nothing else going on, I can't really see my personal students achieving the way they could have achieved if they had some type of structure still going on. Again,
Right.
they could have took me out and put you in. But
Right.
when your ego was in play, you don't think correctly.
So on your team, and not to put anything on them, because like you said, they have their own stuff going on. So honestly, we can really say it's the babies are suffering. It's them who's losing out.
Yeah.
So as many people as HISD has, like, sitting in teacher jail for things that have nothing to do with the abuse or misuse of children or funds, you mean to tell me there was not anybody that was certified, qualified, semi-certified, semi-qualified that they could have put in your classroom to keep up or continue the curriculum so that the kids, because that's our why, right? That's why we there, right?
Yeah.
So that they wouldn't miss out. That's not important?
I think it's not important. It wasn't thought through. I mean, we all know, because let's be clear, we're all human. We've all done things off the cuff because this emotion has got the better of us. And now in the hindsight, I was like, shit, should I have cussed that person out? Should I have broke that window, whatever situation may be, because the emotion has got us and now we're suffering. So some of us are in a self-reflective state. You know what, man, I effed up. Let me go back in and try to correct this. No, everyone wants to stand their ground. Or you know what? This teacher is the jerk. She got to go. I don't care who suffers. And that's what we are. That is what we are. And because, again, proper channels were not followed, because when I call HR, I get directed back to somebody who doesn't have a phone number to be reached. Then I know that this was done with maliciously.
So when I go back and I think about the whole Black Friday meme that somebody posted about HISD, I'm getting other inboxes and messages from other administrators in the district or assistant admins in the districts about what's going on their campuses, even though they are not an NES campus or NES 8 campus. Everybody is being ruled by fear, and the same name keeps coming up, especially in the South. That same name, LaGuardia, like I can't really pronounce her name, keeps coming up. And so it makes me think, like, does she have a specific role? Is her role that of a mentor that's actually here to guide principals and coach principals and make sure that they're making the best decisions for their campus and their students academically? Or is she there, as we say in my district, we have a couple of people we call the Grim Reaper? Is that your job?
I believe, truth be told, her job is the Grim Reaper. Because let me go back to go forward. You know, we can all across the state of Texas, across the nation, because we all saw the way Mike Miles came into office and all that craziness surrounding. We can talk about that all day long. That's a whole nother podcast for a whole nother day. I would have to say that the people that names De La Guardia, Miss White, those are not Mike Miles' people, for lack of a better word. He did not bring those people in. Those people who have been in HISD for over 20 plus years. So this is not people that we can say like I'm the type of person I have to play fair with fair is. I have to give it where it is. These people are not Mike Miles, people that he brought in because, oh, my way is better. No, these are people that have already been in the district. You've been in here 20 plus years. You worked your way up from teacher to principal to all these different things. So now you're able to get in. And I guess maybe you're trying to prove a name for yourself. Maybe you're trying to be the next great hotness. I don't know. But this is not, I would have to go on record to say, if this is what Mike Miles is, and this is how people are, we're in a rude awakening across the district, because there's no way people should be, people in leadership should not be ruling with an iron fist when there's no outcome. If you want to rule with an iron fist, have people lined up like dominoes. Every time they pulling me out, they pulling somebody else in. We're doing this like this. But when no one is running to our district, because let's be clear, it's just been in the news for craziness. Let's be clear, it's been in the news. So no one is running. So there's not a line. And if there is a line, put them in. So we have to start looking at less ego-driven and more realistic about what needs to be done for the children. Because regardless, let's be clear. We want to talk about Mike Miles, let's talk about it. At the end of the day, everybody's a number person. Everybody wants to look good. If numbers start falling in certain districts, certain areas, or whatever situation may be, you don't think Mike Miles is going to sit back and say, "So Rich, Mike, like this was your area. When you got here, we was at this. You've been over here ruling with an iron fist. Now you like this. Let's talk about what you're doing differently." Right. You don't think that he's going to have a conversation about why stuff has dropped? So what are you going to be able to say? Oh, well, Miss Muhammad, she told me she ain't like me, so I had to let her go. So who you put in her place? Right. Who's there to give an instruction? And I think that's the conversation that they don't want to have or willing to have or know how to have, which is why no one's answering their phones or emails.
So somebody sent me this survey-ish thing. Did you guys get a survey as far as teachers who plan to return to the district?
Yes.
All right.
So the intent to survey?
Yes.
Yes.
So, okay. So I got, I guess, a preliminary overview of the results of the survey.
Okay.
And so it says of the approximately 85% of teachers who have completed the survey, roughly 96% plan to keep teaching in HISD next year.
Okay.
97% of NES teachers want to stay in the NES program.
Okay.
90% of teachers at a non-NES school that is joining the NES want to stay at their campus. And 14% of non-NES teachers want to transfer to the NES.
Okay.
What do you feel about those numbers?
I think, well, let me say this. I did see that come across in an email, but I didn't look at that. What was the total number of teachers? Was it all of us? Because the survey, I know the survey officially closed. Officially, we had to have that survey submitted by March 1st at midnight.
It says 85% of the teachers who completed the survey. So
I would say that number is skewed. Let me tell you why.
Very much so.
I would say, because let's be clear. Whether you plan to leave the district or not, why would I say anything if I don't have a job lineup? Me personally, because I don't think I did my survey. I can't remember that. But why would I say, you know what? Let me say no, and no, I don't have a job lineup. I think a lot of people just said yes, because let's be clear, it's real. It's really lives. Why would I say no and you start giving up my spot and I can't find anything? Now I'm screwed. So I think the data is skewed. I think that you will have if the survey came out again for June or July 1st, let me say July 1st, because the last day in HISD to withdraw from the district without a penalty is June 28th, I believe. So I think something about, I say July 1st will be a more accurate data of who actually stays, go, or whatever. Because I know the conversations that has been happening on my campus with people who have realistically said, I don't care if I have to sleep under the bridge. I know I'm not coming back. So me personally, again, I don't have all the names, numbers, but I would say that data is a little bit skewed. I think it's hopeful. I think if that is the case, great. Because let's be clear, great. But I personally believe it's true based on the conversations I've had with different people at different schools on my campus. Even on my campus, that number wouldn't be right. 97% is not going to be like
right.
So I can't. Yeah.
And I think maybe it's the ELA teacher in me that I'm hyper focused on the words and how the question is being asked or how it's being put out there. But it says 85% of the teachers that completed the survey. So what if only 10% of the teachers in your district completed the survey?
There you go.
So this looks misleading to the public because it will have, if you're not tuned in, you're not locked in, as my students say, you'll think, oh, wow, 85% of the teachers in HISD said that they're going to return. That's not what that says. And I know I've taught in 3 districts. When you send that survey out to me, you send it to my employee email. We click on the link and it either asks us to fill out some type of Google survey or Google Doc, which links you back to my employee email and my whatever, or you do a what do they call it? A survey monkey thing? I think that's what it's called, where they claim to be anonymous. No one trusts those surveys. So we're definitely not going to fill it out. Or like you said, I'm going to fill it out to make it look good because now you have reachmyforestfinance@gmail.com that logged in and said, no, hell no, F your mama and you too.
Yeah.
Now you're going to target me. So how do I know that I can feel comfortable working from now until the end of the school year without me being your next target? So either I'm not going to fill out the survey at all, or I'm going to fill it out to make it seem like, yes, this is the best thing ever because you getting rid of people every time we turn around. Every time we blink, I'm getting a new email, a new something that says, well, they just let the principal over here go. Well, they just principal over here just let go. And there was a principal at, I want to say, what was it, Friday? I want to say maybe it was Love Elementary. I can't remember the name. And he sent his notification out to the family, I guess on the Twitter or the email for the families, like, hey, this Friday coming up before spring break is going to be my last day. I'll be moving on and transitioning to an associate principal position. So thank God he landed on his feet. But what about those other principals that they've let go that they don't have anything else lined up? Do they just go sit in teacher jail? Do their contracts get paid out? What happens to them? Because they're on contract too.
Yeah.
So
you know what? That I do not know. I wish I did know, as teachers, we've talked about this in the district. Like because let's be clear, the same emails or messages, the blog posts we get. Let's be clear, and we're like, oh, we heard about this person. Like, we do want to know what happens to them, because we don't know. We don't know what happened. We don't know what the game plan is. And I think that across the way, that's not fair, because I feel like this. Mike Miles has said before that 1 in 3 principals in HISD is ineffective. Now, as a person who's been in HISD, I can't say he's wrong on it, because I've seen some things. I've been at different campuses. I can say I have not been at the same campus. I've been different places. Say, you know what? I like this. I don't like this. So I can kind of say I agree. However, I think that when things go out there, we have to be mindful of what happens on our campuses. For example, when Mike Miles came to HISD, however he wanted to get there, I don't have time for that conversation. There were some A campuses that have been high A campuses for years. I mean, you know yourself, and one time using HISD, you know which campuses pretty much have stayed A across the board for years. So you cannot tell me that those campuses who have been A's for years, everybody there is trash. You can't tell me that. Because for years, this campus has kept their blue ribbon status. They've done this, they've done all these different things. So I think what happens is Mike Miles says something based on the data he may have, and be clear, because I don't have the same data. And then what happens is people come to the campus now doing just acting off of fear and not looking at what goes on in their campus. And I think that's what the issue have too. Because let's be clear, me and you both know on your campus, there's people on there probably you feel is trash. Like how they got hired. And then the son is probably like, you know what? These are some great teachers. But your principal has to know how to go in and maneuver. They can't just come in and treat everybody the exact same way because this person is trash. And I think that's what the problem line is. Mike Miles says something. People rule in fear because we're literally living in animal form at this point. People are going in fear and just getting rid of folks that could be effective or have not proven themselves not to be effective. And I think that's what the problems line is. So to better support the narrative of this is trash, let me get rid of people every day who may or may not have done anything realistically wrong. Because I've heard stories with principals who just like, you know what? I've been running my campus now for 12 years. I know that Ridgemont does this and this. I know how she is. But guess what? Every time I need them numbers done, them numbers is right. Every kid coming to her class is reading and writing. They like, I don't have no problem with her. So if she want to wear jeans today, guess what? Wear them jeans. Come on, sis, wear them jeans. But then when Mike Miles come in, if you ain't supposed to be wearing no jeans, now that your principal getting fired because you're wearing jeans, well, at the end of the day, I'm producing. Like me wearing these jeans or me sitting down or me drinking a Coke every day, that's not doing anything to take away from the great work that I'm doing. And I see that's what the problem is. Everybody's so much ruling on emotion and ego that they're taking away from teachers who are actually producing, who actually care to do this. Because some teachers, it's their purpose, not their passion. Some teachers, it's their passion. So we got to look at it from all different angles. And I think that's the space that we're in now. We have been taught, or leadership is coming in and they're just ruling by fear and not looking at the bigger picture. And they don't have the courage. They don't feel empowered to say, you know what? I respect you. You know what? You might be right about this campus, but over here with this campus that I got, I know my teachers, and I can tell you about each one of my teammates, each one of my colleagues, each one of my teachers know what they're bringing to the table. So I'm going to go ahead and do it this way because it's been working for me. Now, the moment that it change, okay, come in, remove me. But as long as I'm doing what I need to be doing, cool. So I think, too, that's what the issue lies. We have principals who truly do not know their campus. What do you bring to the table?
What I've seen, and again, I get tons of videos. I get tons of, I'm having a meeting with the principal, but I'm sneaking and putting my phone down on the table for it to be recorded. So I get way more than I can actually release. You know, I don't release until the teachers tell me that I can release. Sometimes they just message me with things just so they can vent, or just like, hey, listen to what's going on. Listen to what my principal said in this meeting, this one-on-one meeting with me.
Right.
What I see and what's baffling, what's bothersome to me as far as the campus leaders are concerned, and especially some of those executive directors, I think you guys call them, is that while they're so focused on policing the teachers on the campus, the kids are running amok. And I'm like, well, hey, if you could put a piece of this energy into disciplining the kids on the campus the right way without putting your hands on or whatever, since you have all the answers, you're the great hope, you're the great whatever, you have all the answers of how these things should be, you should be able to come on this campus and make it run like nothing.
Yep.
I am still seeing videos. Friday, I got 2 videos, 2 different campuses on HISD, full out brawls. One brawl at a middle school. The kids are picking up chairs.
I saw it on Twitter. That was literally put on Twitter.
I said, what the hell? But then you telling me, you in my face, you writing me up, you got me at a rec conference, a record, because you didn't like my tone. Meanwhile, these kids in here beating each other down with a chair.
Oh no!
Who was in the classroom as far as the area superintendents, the executive directors, the principals, when that stuff is going on? Why can't you police the kids and the parents as much as you're trying to police us? That's insane.
It's insane. I've seen so much craziness, even on my on-campus prior to us leaving. It was just crazy. Now, again, relationships are key. Let me be clear. How you treat kids or the energy they get from you is how they respond. So let me just say that across the board. But it's situations on my campus, we can see man looking like, they just walking out the building? Like and when I say walk out, I mean walking out. I don't mean running. I don't mean sneaking around. I mean, I'm walking out the front door. But is school still going? But
that's why when you said when the advisory period that you said you've talked to them about, and absolutely nothing occurs during this advisory period at all, right? Everybody is aware that these kids do nothing according to you during advisory period, but this is the time that they scheduled this parent luncheon to happen, which again, I question, why the hell are you scheduling a parent luncheon or parent meeting about about whatever, NES, during lunchtime, during the middle of the day when most parents are at work? Most parents, it's a magnet specialized school. So we're not talking about parents who live in the community, who work in the community. Your kid could be bussed into this school from the north side. It doesn't matter, right?
Yes,
you don't know where I work, what kind of work I do. And you're going to what if my lunch break as a custodian at an elementary school is only 30 minutes long? You scheduled this meeting at this time specifically so that parents would not attend. You made it inconvenient for parents so that you could say, see, the parents didn't show up.
Mm-hmm.
When in true fact, like, you really could have scheduled it after hours. You really could have made it a virtual lunch and bunch. You could have done anything so that parents could have made the time to make it there. I think that's crazy. But anyway, it goes back to you getting written up for not being in your class during advisory. When, baby, we don't do nothing during advisory anyway. We've never done anything during advisory. Why all of a sudden is advisory important to you now?
Because again, like I said before, at any given moment, for me, now granted, I'm have to be correct. The culture of the school before the principal got there, that's there now, was already the same way. So let me just not act. But when she came in, did she do anything to change it? Because that has been the issue across the board. It was okay. If you want things to be, you want to be impactful, you want to be purposeful, it has to be accountability factor attached to it. Because you know how these kids are. Miss, is this for a grade? If this ain't for no grade, there is no type of accountability attachment for children. So you have this advisory period where the children literally straggle in from lunch, with their Uber Eats. They're supposed to be in my classroom. Richmond, do you have my student? Because I can't find the student. I'm in the Teams channel chatting. Hey, I saw Keisha this morning. She ain't supposed to be in my advisor. Do anybody know what she is? There's no response. I got a constant, get out my room, Chris. Get out. Go where you supposed to be at? I'm supposed to be in so-and-so classroom. How so-and-so don't know what you're missing? How so-and-so don't know that you're missing? So this was the whole culture. So all of a sudden today you want to be like we're doing something. Okay. As I tell you, they're walking around upstairs now. And from what I've been told from my coworkers, nothing has really changed. They're still doing the exact same things. Now you just don't have teachers like myself who will be in the hallway saying, you know what? You done walked past me 5 times. I know you don't belong up here. Go, you're supposed to go. So now Miss Muhammad's not there. So now so now, because my classroom has a sub and the sub don't know no better, guess who classroom now is the party room?
Yours.
So now unless the principal or the dean is walking through monitoring this particular room, because that's clear we have a sub. The sub don't know you from Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And so now this room is a party room. Because guess what? You're not going up there. And I know you don't expect my teammates, my suite mates to monitor their classroom and mine. That's not how this works.
I want me, a nobody, want to know or want your principal to go in that classroom and teach those babies because STAR is near.
And you know what? That was literally a conversation. I was talking to my teammates today. That's literally a conversation I am definitely baffled by. I am baffled by because me and you spoke at this ad nauseum last time we got together. I've been in the HISD. You've been in HISD. You're in your district now. You've worked in the state of Texas. Let's just leave it there. We both work in the state of Texas. We know that there is a STAR season. My campus is still, from what I'm hearing, there's like, I said, so what we doing for STAR? Come on, teammates, like what we doing? Because again, I'm gonna help my team. Like I'm at home, but I'm gonna still send, come up with what we need to do. I'm still going to support my team if my team asks me, because we rock for each other. There's like on this campus, I said, so what's going on campus? Like, do we have anything lined up? They was like, they're baffled because again, they have never seen the likes of such where there's nothing going on for STAR. So I was like, well, let me look online. Maybe STAR's not happening. Maybe it's just, maybe I missed the email. Maybe STAR not happening because they cannot believe how nothing is talking about STAR. There's no t-shirts, no bumper stickers, no countdown, no data. Like it just went total obsolete. Like nothing is going on when it comes to STAR. Nothing is going on.
No Saturday school, no boot camps, nothing.
Not even. I remember when I was at one school before, the children knew like at this time, it was like, okay, you know what? If you went from do not meets, if you went to low do not meets this, you got a bike. You got this, you got this, you got this. Some teachers had their own, it was like a school-wide thing. Then some teachers had like their own little growth thing in their classroom where they went in their personal pocket, again, not a problem. And they had like a Wingstop gift card. Somebody had like whatever Nintendo was out that year for them. Like different teachers were doing different things in their classroom to get the spirit high. We was having some type of pep rallies, Friday, all these different things to make it, because this was STAR Review. And we know STAR Review was always boring, but it was different ways to come up with to make it happen, whether it's an all-day Jeopardy, whatever situation may be. So I've been on campuses in HISD, not in Alvin, not in Fort Bend, not in Pearland. I've been in HISD where I've seen these things happen. So to know that it is not happening now, it's like mind-boggling. This is the craziest thing ever.
Oh, Lord. All right. So where we are now, you still at home until they tell you what you're going to do about having to drive 90 minutes away. Now, let me ask you this. Let's say, for instance, you continue to not report 90 minutes away because it's impossible and you run out of days. Do they now have the right to terminate you for not showing up or not reporting to duty?
Again, we could not get myself, nor my union rep can get anybody to give us anything. So you know more than me. So again, it's not like I hate to be this person, but if a person had abused a kid, they would know, okay, so many different things is going on, blah, 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 because there were certain channels that have to be followed. It cannot be a knee-jerk, get off my campus. But because it was a knee-jerk, get off my campus, there were so many steps that was missed. So when you call to find out or you send emails, no one wants to reply. No one wants to say anything. No one is saying, okay, you know what? Now it's just a whole waiting thing. Because I've stated on record plenty of times, hey, I don't mind doing the time, but I cannot do the time 90 minutes away from my home. Give me somewhere else. It is not a problem. Like, hear me well. I will come to your house, sit there. It's not a problem. But no one is willing to answer the question or give a reply. So I really don't know. Only thing I know is that in this moment, in this dispensation of time, I'm going to have to do what is best for my children. Because at the end of the day, I'm always going to be a mom first. And I'm just blessed that I have a husband that backs that. Yeah. Everybody's story is different. So let me put that out there. So that's what it is. So I'm going to do what I can. And then, we go from there. And that's because I cannot give you what I don't have the answer to.
Right, absolutely. So do you feel, I'm gonna make this the last question so we can get on to Sunday? And I told my daughter we would go for crawfish. Girl, where they got crawfish at right now? I thought the crawfish season was dead and done. But anyway,
I did too, but go ahead.
Okay. Do you feel like this is being purposely done so that they can have reason or cause to terminate you?
Yes. I think that because I advocate for myself, and because you might not like the way this Black girl advocates for herself, I'm going to advocate for myself. I have to advocate for myself regardless of what the situation may be. I'm at the nail shop. I don't like this nail color. I don't want you. This is what I don't like. And I think that because, as Malcolm X once said before, the Black woman is the most disrespected person on the planet. I think it falls in that concept, because it shouldn't be a situation where I'm advocating for myself, regardless of the tone. And now this is the penalty. And that's what it is. So and because, again, I'm not a trash teacher. You've seen data. You can't say, you know what, Mr. Muhammad, I can kind of see, like, we don't have that there. So this is personal. And so at this point, you're doing things to terminate me. Go ahead and do it. Because I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off at this point, because there's nothing else I can do about it. What I'm not going to do. Let me put this on record. I've already done my apologies. I'm not going to take anything back. I've already told Miss White, if you don't like my tone, just know I'm frustrated. Which, again, in documentation, she said, let me quote her correctly, Miss Muhammad did apologize, and I told her I understood because she was frustrated. So if you know that, what is the issue? But I already know what it's about. So since I understand that this Black girl match was a little bit too much for you, this is where we at. So everything they're doing is intentional. They're very intentional on getting this Black girl out of the district, which is, hey, fine by me.
Oh, Lord. All right. Well, I definitely do want to continue to keep in touch with you. Let us know what's going on. What's the next step? I am curious to see what happens when and if you run out of days and they still have not told you what's up with your reporting location. If you are to report to teacher jail 90 minutes away, or how long that they are, okay with you taking your personal time, because it's impossible for me to take care of home. And I know they don't expect you to put them before home. I know that could be what they think.
Yeah, but I do know, let me say this. I do, from what my union rep was telling me, somewhere between now, and I say now, like starting maybe Monday, and maybe a little bit after spring break, I'm supposed to get like a final judgment.
Okay.
Then from that judgment, I have 15 days to appeal. So we might have a part 3, 4, 5, and 6. Because this is not a law, because they're not going to terminate my contract. Realistically, I'm still an employee, so I have to June 6th, which was the actual last day for teachers is June 6th. So I have up until all that time. So how this is going to go? Stay tuned. Listen to audience. Stay tuned. This might be again a part 4, 5, and 6. We might have our new Reesa Tisa around here.
Right. All right. Well, I appreciate you, Miss Muhammad, for joining in with us, giving us an update. I've been worried about you all week. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, but you're a strong cookie. I know that's the problem. When they cannot break you and they want to break you so bad, and you're not breaking, that is infuriating to them. I already know. And then now to know that first podcast episode has gotten out and has gotten out to some people, I know they're gonna be. My mama keep telling me that HIZ, the people gonna put a hit out on me. They gonna have me come up missing.
But I look at it from this standpoint. Men, you never know who we have empowered, and even if they don't come talk to you or talk to me, who knows where they talk, where the message get out of advocating for yourself, of changing the narrative of how we see Black women. Because every day as Black women, in some form or fashion, we have to fight. We have to code switch. You have to be meek and mild in order to get our point across. And we're highly educated. Even if we're not highly educated, we know what we're doing, and we got to be dumb. We got to be submissive all the time for the sake of someone else's ego. When do we get that? When can we be free? When can we be authentic? When can we say, you know what? I got years. I got experience. Let me tell you what I know. And I think to that narrative change, we will always have a space for this to be talked about in some form or fashion.
And that is why I am passionate about making sure that I am creating spaces for us to have this dialogue. I'm gonna shout out Dr. Q. I don't know if you've checked the episode out with Dr. Q. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But she's an educational consultant, former principal that started her own ed consulting business, and she does these conferences every year where she specifically gives Black teachers and other teachers of color, a platform to talk. And so I think it's important for us to keep creating spaces for each other to come out and do this, because they're not being created for us. So yes. I appreciate you again. I'm going to say that again. I appreciate you. And if we got to come back for 4, 5, and 6, we're going to come right back. Yes. 4, 5, and 6. So, all right. Yes. I hope you have a great week. Please keep me updated on what goes on. If there's anything I can do or we in the audience can do to support you, like, please let us know.
I will. Thank you so much. Enjoy your Sunday.
See you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.